Well, hello everybody. It is I, your boy, H-Boy. Anyway, if you're a true H-Boy fanatic and been with me since the early days, you probably know I've done 3 mass video deletions. Anyway, one of those was unfortunately my incredibly popular video where I made an edit, not much of an edit, literally just me just slowing it down and speeding it up, whatever, of a Shrek scene. That turned out to be one of my most popular videos, and I think was my first video to hit over 1 million. Anyway, the problem was, during one of the things I had to delete it because, well, it wasn't original enough. So what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be recreating it. However, I'm going to be doing a spin on it in a way that does make it original. So, I'm going to be doing an analysis of the infamous mud tub scene from the second Shrek movie, which was a throwout scene, but it was my 4th favorite scene from the movie. My favorite scene was the either the going through the cottage or the I need a hero scene. And another scene I liked was where they were walking through the forest. And he met Puss in Boots, and remember he scratches them and stuff. Okay, you remember that. I don't need to explain all that to you. Anyway, I have up here, oh, not there, right there, a video of the scene, and I'm going to be doing a random in-depth analysis of it. It's probably going to be slightly weird. However, I did once make an analysis in the comment section of one of the other videos about it, which in a somewhat tongue-in-cheek kind of way, but who cares? Let's get this started. Okay. So, let's start with this. It shows a fairy digging through, and she gets trapped in a, what if to a can shaken up and put on here. This I like to interpret 2 ways. Either one, it was made for light. However, I have a somewhat headcanon where what happened was at first they were just vibing around in the cave, and then eventually Shrek got annoyed by it, because I don't know if you've seen the 3D special in, I think it was in Universal Studios called The Ghost of Lord Farquaad. What happened was a fairy lands on, and he's like, done, bug. So I'm saying it might have been a situation like this, and then I'm assuming Fiona got the idea to can them. So, and then it was like a win-win. They get the light, and they get away from the annoying fairies. That's basically it. And then, as you know, because it's a Shrek movie, there's fart humor, so as you can see that happen. What's funny is if you go frame by frame, like if I go boom, 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 you can pinpoint the part where he noticed. He starts farting before he noticed it. Like you can see a bubble right in the corner behind his arm, right about there. However, you don't notice it. He doesn't get the note. He does. And he starts behind him and then goes in front of him, probably because he's sitting and he probably leaned forward a little. However, he doesn't notice it until right about there. As you can see, it's hard to, you can't zoom in, unfortunately, but as you can see, his eyes opened a tiny bit, so you can pinpoint the realization. However, he doesn't, right there. Actually, it's slightly in the western, but it's more about there. Anyway, you get that. I don't need to explain that to you. Anyway, then as you can see, he gets nervous. And then, as you know, Fiona's a loving wife, and this is probably her first day as an ogre. You know, technically 100% isn't her first day as an ogre. Her first day as an ogre was, as you know, when the witch cast the spell on her. And as most of you know, the witch was probably the fairy godmother, even though I don't think that's the case. I think the witch was like a throwaway character. In fact, I think the entire events of the second Shrek movie wasn't even acknowledged during the first. Because, for example, there's so many questions. Like, 1, where was Prince Charming during this events? And 2, if Prince Charming was supposed to be the one for Fiona, why the hell did Farquaad get the message? One theory that I like is that only the father and the fairy godmother knew, and then the mother asked the magic mirror to give the advertisement because she didn't know about the Prince Charming plan. I like that theory because it actually is believable. Anyway, you get it. So Shrek gets nervous, and then he raises his hand. You can tell he's worried. Anyway, and then this scene. Look at how Fiona gets prepared. Like, as you can see, she leans back a little, and then leans forward, making the bubbles. So, if you can see, that one you can also pinpoint when she starts getting ready. It's about, keep going right about there. She's leaning forward a little, and then she leans back a little, right there. And then as you can see, she's getting ready, and then as you can see, you can pinpoint her sticking in there, and then her blue her blue swimsuit is now officially all muddy, which it is for the rest of the scene. And then what's interesting about this is like one of those things where you don't notice it the first time, but then if you watch again, you notice it. Like if you go back to this scene, if you go back to the first fart scene, as you can see, it stops. Like as you can see, there's no more bubbles. However, when Fiona does it, it keeps going until the end of the scene. Watch, and then Shrek adds his, but hers, like on her side, keep going until the end of the scene, implying that she really dropped a big one. Unless another possible what's it called, observation or theory would be the fact that, notice how when Shrek toots the first time, right about here, see, look, it goes, then he stops, but notice how it seemed to slip out. Notice how it seemed to slip out. That's why he's nervous about it, and it stops, and he didn't do the lean forward. He didn't do that thing where he leaned forward like that, or whatever the hell you call it. However, when Fiona does it, as well as when Shrek does it the second time, they actually do that. So, because in this case, they're forcefully doing it, like pushing it out, meaning that would probably be stronger, causing the bubbles to be, well, a more strength. And then another observation. In fact, I'm making observations about a freaking throwaway scene in a movie from 2004. But anything for the fans, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, as you can see, what's interesting about this is if you remember the first Shrek movie, what happens is after he toots and kills the fish, it floats up to the surface. However, in this one, the fairies survive. In fact, they just seem more like mildly inconvenienced. As you can see, one of them passes out. One of them, like I think that one passes out. So it's like dramatic, like, oh god, the stench, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, the stench, it's so unbearable. Okay, I'm being dramatic, but you get the idea. And then, but with the one in the middle, in the blue thingy, she just waves her nose away. However, the one on the left seems to completely collapse. Seems to completely collapse. No, I just noticed here she is actually pounding and like most likely begging and pleading for her life. When I understand, ogre farts are probably. Of course, I'm not an ogre, so I couldn't tell you, but they probably reek. Anyway, let's see. Is there anything else I can analyze about this? However, what I like is for example, what I sometimes do is for example, I was on a Make-A-GIF site. What I did is you just go back, right there. It's one of the 3 times I would pinpoint at that. This one, and I think right there. Anyway, I don't think I need to explain that to you. Anyway, what I like about this scene is like it's the first fart joke in the movie, as well as one of the only 2 times Fiona has farted in the series. This one and once the kazoo scene from Shrek's story. However, there was one thing. In Shrek the Halls, that one was a story. Shrek was telling a story, so that technically doesn't count because it didn't actually happen. It was only in Shrek's imagination. So, if you don't count that, then this would technically be the only one. Anyway, as you can see, there's that again. I don't need to keep showing it to you over and over again. It's not important. And the thing is, if you notice that some of the fairies are like, let me go back to the scene. Like, if you actually pay attention to the fairies in this scene, as you can see, most of them are just looking and like that one seems to be like contorting and trying to like get out, like just waving their arms in confusion, as this almost like they're dancing. And then most of them seem to, however, only one of them seems to seriously be escaping that one. What's really weird is the fairies actually look suspiciously almost like in a somewhat uncanny way, kind of almost human. Like the thing about DreamWorks characters is DreamWorks characters almost always look caricature-y, but those ones look suspiciously almost human-like. Like if you look very closely, like that one looks actually almost like a human, which is pretty strange. Also, it looks like he's wearing a toga. Like, anyway, I don't think I need to show you that again. Anyway, I think that's it. I don't think I need to analyze it anymore. However, one thing I could analyze is the fact, as you know, like how her swimsuit or whatever turns muddy. And then another thing is, one time, I think it was in the comment section once, it was an argument of whether or not Shrek was naked in this scene. However, there's evidence both ways. Evidence that he could be is if you remember the beach scene from, let me go, Shrek to beach. If you go to the beach scene, as you can see, they're both wearing their swim trunks. And if you look very closely, you can tell that it's this. You can tell that the swimsuit that Fiona's wearing is the same one from that scene. For example, let me go to this video where it'll give you a very close. Okay, does this show the beach scene? Yeah, right here, right about here, right about here. There you go. No, okay, there's that. Yeah. It doesn't. Well, it does show the beach scene, but not close enough. But as you can see, she's wearing the same blue swimsuit with yellow flowers. Now let me go back here. And as you can see, she's wearing the same one here. So, presumably, that scene took place on the same day as the beach scene. In fact, it's not 100% guaranteed, but it's possible that that entire honeymoon montage probably took 1 or 2 days. Most likely 2 days, considering the fact that if you remember, you probably don't remember, but if you do remember, one time it showed in the night. So I'm assuming they took place in just 2 days. So there's evidence that he might not be naked, because if it happened the same day, they were probably wearing the same outfit. However, if it was taken 2 days, then yeah, it's probably a difference. Anyway, however, in this one, like someone pointed out, like for example, if you ever tooted in water and you're wearing swim trunks, it might only come up the back, but here it goes all the way because he's sitting. So if anything, he's most likely naked. But then again, what's really interesting is with in Fiona's case, it happens the same. Like if you watch right about here, if you watch there, what happens is it also comes out on both sides. So unless she's only wearing a top, which is possible, but I doubt that because that would be incredibly pointless. However, so that kind of debunks the theory. But then again, a bikini structure is different. However, I don't know if that's a bikini or a one piece, because for example, in one of the technical goofs, because as you remember, in the beach scene, she was wearing a skirt, and I highly doubt she was wearing a skirt in that scene. However, there's one thing that disproves that. If you go to the technical goofs, which I'm going to do right here,
but can't hide.
I'm going to go to the technical goofs, and then as you can see in this scene when she loses her skirt, which they say was a goof, notice how she doesn't appear to have anything underneath. And then if that is the case, and also in this technical goof, before they added the mud on their skin, it seems like it's only the first part, almost like a sports bra, if you will. So because of that, I believe that she might have only been wearing the top. Because if she was only wearing the top, almost like a sports bra, then maybe she did have it like that. So maybe she was only wearing the top. However, because of, it's a kids movie and censorship and stuff, they couldn't show that. So that is why I believe that Shrek was possibly naked. So there's evidence both ways. Anyway, I think that's all I have to say about that scene. So I hope you watch it, enjoy, and remember, Shrek is love and Shrek is life.